Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Hamilton. We welcome you here in the sanctuary and those who have joined us online. Please turn off your cell phones unless you have T-coil, and there you can run that through your phone for our hearing assistive loop. My name is Irene Kay. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm this morning's worship leader. We have a guest minister this morning, Reverend Stephen Atkinson. For those of you who don't know Stephen, he arrived in Hamilton in July 2015 to become a spiritual care resident at St. Joseph's Healthcare in Hamilton. He had just left an 8-year... Could you close the door, please? Thank you. Stephen had just left his 8-year ministry for the North Shore Unitarians in West Vancouver. Since then, he's delighted to be a participating member of this venerable and vital congregation. Starting out by being a Sunday greeter, then a cashier, twice an internship committee chair, and now working with the lay chaplaincy committee. Our music ministers this morning are Rachel Derry and Gabriel Adel, and Jenny Coops will tell our story. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your journey of faith or search for meaning, today you are one of us, and you are welcome in this house of worship. Our mission is to nurture one another, serve the community, and inspire action to heal the world. We are not the first people on this land, nor will we be the last. We acknowledge our connection to the web of all existence, honoring the past and preparing for the future. The stewardship of the original people who lived here preserved this place for our generation. We seek to be respectful stewards of this place for those who follow. Please settle into your seats while we listen to our prelude.
There's just a short prelude this morning, but I thought I'm going to bring a bit of my roots here. It's a chorus from a song, Let the Circle Be Wide by Tommy Sands. And Tommy Sands is a Northern Irish political activist, singer, songwriter. If you know it, join me. If you don't, I'll sing it a couple of times. Let the circle be wide. Let the circle be wide by our fireside, and we'll all make room for you. Let your heart have no fear, there are no strangers here, just friends that you never knew. Let the circle be wide by the fireside, and we'll all make room for you. Let your heart have no fear, there are no strangers here, just friends that you never knew. One more time. Let the circle be wide by our fireside, and we'll all make room for you. Let your heart have no fear, there are no strangers here, just friends that you never knew.
Each time we meet, we light a chalice, and it reminds us of our connection to Unitarians all over the world. Please join me in our chalice lighting words.
so prepared. There are two periods in the cycle of the year when the earth reminds us of the realities of life. Autumn is emerging now, a time when many living things alter their function, reroute their energy. We see it in the sky, we're starting to in the trees, in the leaves starting to display their last burst of life prior to their fall. I know I'm a bit premature about this, but it's happening. Such is the wonder of life that death plays its crucial part. From such comes our need to come together, to face all the miraculous, ambivalent truths of life. Let us now enter into the spirit of worship.
Good morning. Today's story is called The Invisible Boy by Trudy Ludwig and illustrated by Patrice Barton. Oh. Sorry. Can you put it on the first one? Thank you. The Invisible Boy. Can you see Brian, the invisible boy? Even Mrs. Carlotti has trouble noticing him in our classroom. She's too busy dealing with Nathan and Sophie. Nathan has problems with what Mrs. Carlotti calls volume control. He uses his outside voice inside too much. Sophie whines and complains when she doesn't get her way. Nathan and Sophie take up a lot of space. Brian doesn't. When the bell rings for recess, Micah and JT take turns choosing kids for their kickball teams. The best players get picked first, then the best friends of the best players, then the friends of the best friends. Only Brian is left, still waiting and hoping. JT glances in Brian's direction and just as quickly looks away. We've got enough players for each team, he tells the others. Let's play ball. In the cafeteria, Madison and her friends talk about her birthday party. The rope swing over the pool was awesome, says JT. Yeah, so was the water slide, adds Fiona. That was the best pool party ever. I'm so glad you guys had fun, says Madison. Everybody did, except Brian. He wasn't invited. At choosing time, while the other kids play board games and read, Brian sits at his table doing what he loves to do best. He draws fire-breathing dragons scaling tall buildings, or space aliens locked in intergalactic battles, or greedy pirates digging for treasure, arr, or superheroes with the power to make friends wherever they go. On Monday morning, Mrs. Carlotti introduces Justin, a new student, to the class. Brian smiles shyly at him. Some of the other kids sneak looks at Justin, trying to figure out if he's cool enough to be their friend. They haven't quite made up their minds yet. At lunch, Madison and JT watch Justin eat with chopsticks. What's that? Asks Madison as she points at Justin's food. It's bulgogi. It's Korean barbecued beef. My grandma made it for me. It's really quite good. Do you want to try some? Ugh, there's no way I'd eat bulgogi. And the kids laugh. All of them, that is, except Brian. He sits there wondering which is worse, being laughed at or feeling invisible. The next day, when Justin goes to his cubby to put away his backpack, he notices a piece of paper with his name on it. Justin, I thought the bulgogi looked good. Brian. At morning recess, Brian finds a piece of chalk on the ground and starts drawing away. You're Brian, right? Yeah. Thanks for the note. Hey, Justin, Emilio calls out from the tetherball court. You're up next. Sorry, I gotta go, says Justin. By the way, that's a really cool drawing, he adds before taking off. Back in class, Mrs. Carlotti asks the kids to team up in 2s or 3s for a special project. The kids scurry around the room to pair off, and Brian heads towards Justin. I'm already with Justin, says Emilio. Find someone else. Brian looks at the floor, wishing he could draw a hole right there to swallow him up. Hey, Mrs. Carlotti says we can have 3 people in our group. We're only 2. Come on, Emilio, let him work with us. Okay, I guess. Mrs. Carlotti gives the class directions for their project. Your assignment is to work together to write a story about what you see in that photograph. Whoa, cool, says Emilio. What kind of people do you think would live in houses like that? I don't know, but I bet Brian could draw them to go with our story, says Justin. Brian smiles as he takes out his lucky pen. It's lunchtime again, Brian's least favorite part of the day. Another 20 L-O-N-G long minutes of kids talking and laughing with everyone else but him. Brian! He hears someone shout, Hey Brian, over here! Brian turns and sees Justin waving him over. Emilio nods at Brian as he makes room for him at the table. Maybe, just maybe, Brian's not so invisible after all. I had something I wanted to share too. That is on September 21st. If you have any little kids who might want to come and graffiti up our parking lot with chalk, please come. We're having a Chalk the Parking Lot event, and it's from, I think, 2 to 5 or 6. There's details in the ACE, so check it out. Check out our website or our socials for more information about that. But you're welcome to come and bring some kids who might want to graffiti the parking lot. And so I wanted to say that we are an intergenerational community, and that means that we all gather across generations. Sometimes we gather in groups of our generations, and we start all of our services together because it's important for all of the kids, even as young as 6 months old, to be familiar with the practices of our community. And it's important for our elders to experience the vibrancy of youth, and I think we all enjoy these stories on Sunday mornings. Our children are welcome to stay with the adults here in the sanctuary, or you'll head over to the Rainbow Room with me and Myas for some conversation and some play, and we'll have some fun over there too. And as the families decide if they want to stay or head down to the hallway, we'll sing our first hymn, 1017, in the Teal hymn book, Building a New Way.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day.
The offering that we accept each Sunday is an opportunity to recommit ourselves to this community and to our relationships with one another. When we give, we say yes to something that we value. With gifts given freely, may we say yes to the values of our faith. We will now receive our offering while we listen to our music minister.
I'm going to sing something very simple that you are welcome to join me singing once you feel the words, feel the music, feel the melody. Together we are better. Together we can make a try. Together we can make a better day. Yeah. Together we are better. Together we can make a better way. Together we can make a better way. Helps if I know the words. Together, but we can all do this. Together we are better. There it is. Together we can make our way. Together we can make a better day. Yeah. Together we are better. Together we can make our way. Together we can make a better day. Oh yeah, together we are better. We are. Together we can make our way. Together we can make a better day. Everybody sing together. Together we are better. Together we can make our way. Together we can make a better day. One more time now. Together we are better. Together we can make our way. Together we can make a better day. Together.
Your gifts in support of our ministries to one another and to the community are appreciated. Thank you. Now, Stephen's going to lead us in our meditation. It's going to be a little different this morning, interactive with music. After he finishes the meditation, there will be a time for you to come up if you would like to light a candle of joy, sorrow, or gratitude. So we've got two musical interludes here, one following the other. Enjoy.
We are going to do a meditation together that my congregation back in BC used to love doing, and we usually did it in the first or second Sunday of September. I learned it from my spiritual guide. What are they called? Anyway, my spiritual person at that time. And it's layered. It has words and actions and music, and it's really simple once you get into it, but it's going to sound complicated at first. So the words are just three words. I am here. Just a statement of fact. I am here. And Rachel's going to play some beautiful music in the background with a sort of a 3/3 tempo. Some of you know you'll know what that sounds like as soon as we get started. And we'll actually Rachel, can you play that right now? 2, 3. So you get a sense of it. 2, 3, 1. Thanks, Rachel. And what we're going to do is we're going to say one of the words on the one beat of each of those bars. So let's, Rachel and I, do that a bit right now. Play again, please. I am here. I am here. Get it? I am here. Now, Rachel, you keep playing and you listen to me for a second, because we're going to do some actions that help us embody what we're talking about. We're talking about being present in the here and now with each other. And the movements are very simple. So we're going to start with this, and then this, and then hands on your lap, and then up in the air. And I like to sort of do a little drama with that up in the air thing. And the words and the actions will go together. So you're going to just hold on for a second. So now, Rachel, I'll start saying and doing the actions. You can keep going. And you follow in as soon as you think you've got it. Okay? I am here. I am here. You might get it wrong, and that's okay. I am here. I am here. I am here. We'll just do this for a little while. I am here. 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 And we'll do this the last time. I am here. So with this music coming, you are welcome to come up and light a candle.
come now to a time in our service when we affirm the ways that we are connected in this life as we live into the truth that what affects one of us affects us all. In a spirit of community care, let us open our hearts to one another and all that we hold sacred. This morning we have a sorrow from Louise McKinney. She writes, I wish to remember my dear friends Mary Bonnet Jumaville and Ava Sommet from New Orleans, Louisiana, on September 5th and 7th, respectively. I lost my two besties in as many days. How did they pull this off, I wondered. I can only think they planned it out and are now joining hands, busy creating hijinks in heaven. Enter, rejoice, and come in. We know also that there are some sorrows among us too tender to share. We hold those in space today with the reminder that we are never alone. Alongside the struggles and sorrows of this life, there are also joys to share, milestones, blessings, and celebrations of all kinds, for which we are moved to give thanks. And this morning, we are delighted to celebrate with Louise McKinney, who writes, I'd like to announce that my son, Jude Aaron McKinney, is joining the ranks of published authors, having completed an edgy coming-of-age trilogy that pits three youth against the dark forces of a dystopian AI world. His website is www.perfectsocietyai.com. We celebrate the joys that flow among us and the happiness that we have as a community. And Steve will now present his homily.
Before I start, I just want to thank Rachel and Gabriel for that lovely interlude during the offering. I had to ask Gabriel what the heck this is, and it's a steel guitar, as you could tell by hearing it. And I thought, wow, it's been so long since I've heard the ethereal mystery of steel guitar music. I loved it. Thank you so much. Enter, rejoice, and come in. That's the first hymn I ever heard at a Unitarian Universalist service. And that was in Fredericton, New Brunswick, a very short, very long, almost exactly 25 years ago today. And by the way, almost exactly 10 years ago today, I entered this door. So I hadn't thought about that till I was sitting here. Now, Fredericton has a large 60s era, it's not a mansion, but a good solid, upper middle class home. And like newcomers in some places, I come in by the wrong door. There's a back door, then there's this grand front door. I go up, it's locked, I ring the bell, bing, bong, bong. Somebody opens the door, and I step in, and everybody's sort of looking around. But I survived that. The living room was set up with chairs and a pulpit and a place for the chalice. The fireplace has flowers in it. There's a step up to the old dining area, which has a beautiful grand piano. The pulpit there, by the way, is an old Universalist church pulpit from the 19th century from rural New Brunswick. Their minister at that time is the Reverend Nancy Anderson. She was a developmental minister there. People are pretty friendly, and I feel surprisingly comfortable and unself-conscious. Although I've often wondered why it isn't self-unconscious. Anyway, whatever the word is, there's no real word for it, but what I'm trying to say is that as someone naturally shy, who's avoided stepping into any religious community for 22 years, I find myself just being there. No second guessing or analysis of what the hell am I doing. And if you're new here today, by the way, to use hell isn't a swear word because we don't believe in it. You can't swear on somebody else's beliefs. but that's another sermon. And if you're new here today, I hope you feel anything like as comfortable as I did that Sunday. So as I was saying, enter, rejoice, and come in is the first hymn. The 35 or so people there sing it with gusto. I find it a bit silly, really. It's a tune fit for kindergarten. Repetitive words doesn't make sense. How can you come in after you've already entered? But the little ditty sticks in my mind, so I guess it does the trick. That's part of the story of my first experience of Unitarian Universalism, our community, our style, our simplicity, our worship, our welcome. And I hope you each have a similar story of discovering Unitarian Universalism for yourselves. Even if you were born UU, at some time you decided it was for you. And I hope you had a similar sense of discovery and gratitude. So by entering, we get our bodies here. We come in the door. We finally listen to a part of us that's been telling us we want something more. Or finally discover that what we thought couldn't be possible, a community of faith that doesn't insist on what we must know, actually does exist. We risk entering an atmosphere we don't know yet, interactions with people we don't know, behaviors and habits that are new to us, and that are new to us and not necessarily welcome till we try them. We get past our doubt and our anxiety so we can get here. We watch, we listen, we start to think and to feel. For many of us, the decision to enter is difficult. I mentioned a 22-year gap. That's a long story, but I leave my previous faith with a lot of pain and loss. And I don't know for all that time whether I ever want to risk a spiritual community again. Not that I was abused, but just. What's it going to be like? Somehow I, and at some point many of you, decide to enter the questions, hoping for good answers. But the entry is not over just by coming through the door. That's so in particular for some of us who have important doubts to sort through. Some of the words we use here mean something different elsewhere. Words like church, that's truly a Christian term, and for some of you it's as alien as if we called ourselves the First Hamilton UU Temple, or mosque, or sangha. But it's a word we use historically, and because it contains the depth of reason and commitment that requires a big word, like church. Other words like faith, religion, and worship aren't natural for some of us either. In the process of entering, we sort through these things, or keep sorting through them. And because we're UUs and embrace questions, we value doubts and rely on reason, we don't have to sort all these things out at the beginning. At some point, we get far enough along, and then we can rejoice. Wow! Look what I found! There is a community of faith that isn't blind. There are people who reject the same contradictions and inconsistencies in belief that blocked us elsewhere. There is a space where a Jewish man and a Muslim woman can come together and be married and live together, and their children can go to RE and not be othered. There's toys in the sanctuary. There's quilts on the walls. There's jazz for music. There's laughter. I forgot a line. Poetry is read as scripture. Science defeats dogma. And the sermons. They're about perfect. And laughter is the sacrament that we share. As we enter, or once we feel we've actually arrived here, many of us feel a sense of relief. We can belong somewhere. We can feel the sense of togetherness that we sang about, that comes with freedom of thought, acceptance of beliefs, and freedom to choose. As we rejoice, we continue to enter. We attend at our own definition of regularity. Sometimes it's more than once a week. Sometimes, we take on a task. We give our time and talent. We serve and give and donate. We share our lives. We learn to lean upon others and make ourselves ready to be leaned on. We come to be loved, not because we think or do the right things, but because we are let loose to become who we deeply are. Truly, this is something to be glad about. Enter. Rejoice. Well, what's this thing about coming in? As I think over the years about the hymn, little more than a jingle, really. You can tell that's musically not my favorite. I conclude that there's more to being here than to enter, to discover belonging, to participate in the community, and to rejoice. There is something beyond that, something else, something more implied by the little phrase, come in. First of all, the second verse says, open your ears to the song. Well, certainly that means more than to this particular song, which is like having a marshmallow when you're starving. No offense to music. And a lot of people love this hymn. And that's wonderful, and I'm glad we sing it, but marshmallow. There is a greater song, a more beautiful melody, a grander harmony to which we must listen. We might think of this song, this grander song, in many ways. There is song at the musical artistic level. For me, certain music demands that I listen only to it, to stop whatever I'm doing in order to open my ears to listen. Whether it be one of Richard Strauss's 4 last songs, or whether Cher's "Do You Believe in Life After Love?" You got to stop and listen to that. Open your ears to such a song. Come in to a deeper experience of music, which is also a science. The art that goes with physics and chemistry and biology. And for those who have the ability to hear, I realize this is very hearing heavy right now, the communal experience of music actually creates a common state of mind neurologically. It makes the eardrums of most of us vibrate in the same way, and that affects us, our internal mental state. We share a similar state of arousal and emotion in music. And that's why a shared experience of music can be so entrancing. We are literally in sync with those around us. Open your ears to such a song. Come in to the communal experience of our bodies. Further, we talk of the music of the spheres, the universal song. This is a metaphor of the harmony within nature. Early on, the planets and stars were observed to move in a periodic and predictable way. Among humans, we call such periodic and predictable movement dance, which we do to music, or to our own heads, or sometimes just to a good rhythm. As we observe the incomprehensible grandeur of the universe and watch its lingering minuet, is it not right for us to open our ears past the physical sensations, to listen farther, and with more concentration to that subtle song? Open your ears to that. Come in to the experience of awe and wonder. Most human scriptures use music as imagery when they attempt to convey the divine. Heavenly angels sing Alleluia. The dervishes whirl to music. Christians, Jews, Baha'is, First Nations, many others frequently chant prayers because they believe the chant carries their words more directly to God. Or it could be the other way around, that our ears open more to the attention of what is by chanting. Open your ears to the celestial song. Come in to the sound of the Spirit. The next verse starts with, "Open your hearts, everyone." Surely, this is a command that we be loving, that we come here and be patient, kind, and warm to one another, that we build our community not just on common values, but also on true affection, the kind that comes from working side by side, from getting past petty frustrations or differences to see the deeper level, the beautiful humanity of each other. Open your hearts to each other. Come into the commitment of love. We also open our hearts to the stranger, to the newcomer, to the world, to make ourselves vulnerable to misery, even if we only feel it vicariously through the suffering of others. Open your hearts to the strange. Come in to the pain of compassion. Open our hearts to ourselves. Turn attention, consider, contemplate, ponder, and gaze upon what lies within. We look in to our own heart. What's hidden there? What lurks? Is it a darkness, a fear, a pain, a rejected memory, buried shame? There are secrets like poison, and the antidote is honesty. But maybe what's buried is a long-doubted talent, like the guy in the story. His talent is hidden, and then he discovers it, and people adore and accept his talent. Maybe your secret is a talent, or a treasure, or an idea. There are secrets that are silver, but they must be cared for and not allowed to tarnish. You have to exercise them, take a risk. Open your hearts to yourselves. Come into the truth of who you are. Now, heart's also a metaphor for spirit. Open your spirits, everyone. Awaken yourselves. Whatever you believe, it is likely there is more to know. And in whatever you don't believe, there's likely some truth you haven't recognized. Opening the spirit does not just mean to get spiritual. It means to stretch, to grow in an uncharacteristic direction, to try out a part of life that's new. There will be mysteries there to baffle and inform. Open your spirits to the unfamiliar. Come in to a new layer of living. Finally, don't be afraid of some change, the song reassures us. Well, it better reassure us, because if we really enter, if we actually find something to rejoice about, if we truly come in, open to our ears and opening our hearts, then something's bound to change. Don't be afraid of that. Embrace it. We have no choice anyway. Even resisting change changes us. It hardens and wizens and shrinks us. Now, an odd little bugaboo that I find among many Unitarians who are excited by the changes that are brought easily by coming and finding this faith and committing to it, then stay happily the same for the rest of their lives, or intend to. We know what's true and false, and by George, we're sticking to it. But transformation cannot stop. It must not stop. It must continue to work its magic in us. And this is what prepares us for all that happens in our lives. This is what being truly alive is. That is what spiritual growth is. So this silly, simple, little transformative hymn was the first I ever heard in UU worship. Enter, rejoice, and come in. I had no idea of all that it could mean. I still don't know fully. But I entered, I still rejoice, and I keep coming in. And may this hymn work its way into your hearing, your heart, and your life. And now let's finally sing the thing. Hymn number 361 in the hardcover hymn book. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
I'm reminded of Martin Short's "Give Me a Bouncy Sea." Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Day will be a joyful day. Don't be afraid and come in. Last one, here we go. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Our week, may we continue to enter each moment with an open mind and heart. May we rejoice at whatever comes to us as an experience or lesson that can enrich us. And may we come into our deeper selves as we accept the flow of life, of awareness, and of acceptance. Blessed be.
As Gabriel comes up, and I just want to make a note, this is the first time he shared his music with us, and I'm absolutely thrilled, so thank you, Gabriel. It's a brave thing to do. The postlude, we're going to sing it together, hopefully. Just join the words. We're going to sit at the welcome table, and I want to contextualize that a bit. It's an African-American spiritual that came out of slavery, and it was about ending the pain on earth and being welcomed into God's realm. And then through the civil rights movement, it became a call of unity, of us all working together, and it sits in that place. And I'd like you to join me in singing it. We're going to sit at the welcome table one of these days, one of these days. And then the second verse is all kinds of people around that table, but I'll lead you through that. And here we go. We're gonna sit at the welcome table. We're gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. Hallelujah. We're gonna sit at the welcome table. Gonna of people. All kinds of people around that table. All kinds of people around that table one of these days. Hallelujah. All kinds of people around that table. Gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. We're gonna sit one more time.